Hey guys, today we will show you step-by-step installation how to mount the RADE tanks for the KTM 790 and 890 Adventure. We suggest you split the installation in two phases. In the first stage, you will remove the original tank and you will drying it. And in the next stage, you will do the installation of the RADE tanks. Guys, when you buy the 790, 890 RADE tanks, so you can see here what you get in the pack. Here are the longer fairings compatible with the RG tower, but you might get also the shorter fairings compatible with the original tower. Depends how you specify your order. Secondly, you get the carbon box, the fuel tube, the aluminum guards of the radiator and the related tubes. You get the tank holders, you get the mounting packs divided into four different packs for easier mounting. You get the carbon tank covers, long seat covers and the decals. And of course, you get the tanks with the fuel caps. Now we need to remove the tank. The tank sits on 4 bolts. There is one, second, and the same on the other side. Now you have to dismount the fuel cap, all the 6 bolts. And now remove the air vent tubes. And now you can mount the fuel cap back, in order to don't lose the bolts, etc. Guys, we need to get out the skid plate. So here are 4 bolts we need to remove. Another bolt is here and on the other side also. And from the bottom of the skid plate there are the last 2 bolts to remove, and then you get the skid plate out. Now we are looking at the bottom of the tanks. You see the petcock, so now close the petcock on both sides and then remove the bridging fuel line. Use some old t-shirt because they will spill over some fuel from the bridging line. And now disconnect the fuel pump electric connector, and also there is one connector on the other side of the tank, so disconnect it also. Now we need to disconnect the fuel line from the injection, let's say. Take a screwdriver and you will see the green secure lock. So first you need to get it down, like you see on the video, until you get it to the big black tube. Now take the black connector, and pull it out. You need to use a little bit of force to get it out, but there is not any lock, anything, just in a straight direction pull it out. Now when everything is disconnected from the main tank, you can lift it up and put it aside. Don't forget to collect the remaining grommets from the original tank. There are 2 down on the sides, and on top there are another 2. Now remove the petcocks and be careful, don't lose the O-rings. Next is removal of the fuel pump, and keep it aside and you will need it soon again. And as the last, you take out the flow tube. Keep the original bolts because you will need them again. We will start mounting the Scots adapter. If you don't plan to mount the Scots, you can skip this part. First, lose these 4 bolts and remove the handlebars. Remove also the handlebar clamps. When mounting the bar risers and the handlebar clamps, so first you use our bolts. You don't forget to use Loctite. Then also keep in mind that these handlebar clamps are not in the middle. So you have to decide which way you want to mount it. and then you go here to the bottom hole and on the triple clamps to the middle one. Mount back the handlebars. These lines we took out from the main tank won't be needed anymore, so actually you can turn them down here, and then you need to remove this plastic cover. Take this M8 by 20 bolt, use a little bit of Loctite and mount the top holder. Prepare the pin holder and the M6 by 16 bolts, and we will mount it on the top holder. Now the Scott's adapter is mounted. It's volunteer. If you don't plan to use Scott's, you don't have to mount this section here. But it's important that you always mount these tank holders, yeah, because you will need it to fix the RADE tanks on the motorbike. In the next stage, you have to mount these reinforcement brackets for the cockpit. The customers who already have the fairing kit from us can check their brackets on the motorbike if they have these rivet nuts. If not, you have to remove current brackets and replace them with this one. For all the others, you have to mount these reinforcement brackets to be able to mount the radiator protection. On the reinforcement bracket, especially on the right side, you have to put this rim protection. Yeah, and on both sides you have to put the 3D printed spacers. Now we need to remove these two bolts and keep them in your pocket because you will need them soon again. Guys, now you have to insert the reinforcement bracket. Yeah, and then you insert it from here. Yeah, and it has to go under the original reinforcement bar. Here you have to go under the cables. Yeah, and then you use again the original bolts. Here you can see how is it on the right side. The cables coming from the frame area goes above the protection rim. Here is the spacer, yeah, and the cables from the handlebars go directly to the tower. And the VIN code, it's nicely visible. Now you remove these two bolts holding the voltage regulator, and then you need to remove also this plastic stuff. So here is one bolt coming from outside, and here is another one also coming from outside. Before we remove this expansion tank, yeah, we do this with the tubes. Yeah, take out this one and this one and connect it directly. You will use it later, and this one is not needed anymore. And then here is one bolt and here is second bolt. So take them out and you will get the complete plastic out. Prepare the M6 by 30 bolt and the bracket. Now mount into the rivet nut. At this moment only catch it, don't tighten, keep it flexible. Here from the bottom is one bolt holding this winglet, yeah? So now remove it, and you will use the supplied M5 by 16 bolt with a plastic washer. And now you have to get the bracket directly here and over the winglet. Now remove this bolt holding the skid plate bracket. Now prepare the M8 by 60 bolt. Put the bolt inside the ADL bracket, put it through, mount it here. At this stage you don't have to super tighten, but keep it in this direction like this to be able to put on the tank. You don't have to, but we suggest you take the fuel tube from us and you replace the original one, yeah, and you keep it aside, but you don't have to, yeah, it's up to you. First we take the left tank and we mount back the petcock. We use the original bolts, and don't forget the O-ring. And the orientation of the petcock is towards the fuel pump. From the pack 3, take the M6 by 20 bolts with the hexagon head and use them to mount the fuel pump. You see, here is this is the orientation of the fuel pump, yeah? But you can be, you are safe because there is the only way to enter it correctly, yeah? And then you don't have to use any special seal. The seal is the original one on the fuel pump, yeah? And then tight only manually, yeah? Now we use the original bolts to mount the flow tube, and this is the orientation. The electric connectors goes inside the motorbike, yeah? And the fuel petcock, again you use the original bolts, and the orientation is in front of the motorbike. Find the original expansion tank and remove this tube because you will need it for the new tank. And install the tube on the new expansion tank like this. Now take the M5 by 30 bolts and the washers and mount the expansion tank to the fuel tank. Now take the original grommets and put them here, here and here. Guys, we start with the right tank. What is important here? This should be the orientation you should prepare. This is the orientation of the tube. And now we connect the radiator first. Then we connect the expansion tank. And now we can put the tank on. Now you take the original bolt with the original compression limiter and the grommet, yeah, and first you mount this bolt. So from the mounting pack you take the shorter compression limiter and the M8 by 50, yeah. It's good first to try to align all the holes and then you insert the bolt and you mount the tank. Now you take the M8 by 50. Yeah, again you align the holes. You see here is the shorter bracket on the right side, and then you mount the tank. Now put the grommets here inside, and then the supplied long compression limiter with the grommet goes here. This is top of the tank. The shorter one, yeah, goes from the side of the tank. And the original one, the shortest one, goes here, also from the top of the tank. First you connect the full line. You need to get it behind this one. When you're there, with the screwdriver, you push the green secure up. When mounting the tanks, you start here with this point. You take the original compression limiter, original grommet, and original bolt, and you bolt on here. Yeah. And tight only manually, not too much, because you need to keep certain flexibility of the tank to be able later on to mount the carbon box and this point. Now you take the M8 by 50, yeah, but first you align the holes and then you mount it. Now we will use the M6 by 20 bolts with the rim head. It is important to say that the regulator has to be mounted with the connector pointed outside. Yeah, otherwise you won't be able to turn the handlebars. Yeah. And mount it here to the holder of the radiator, yeah, and do it on both sides. Now you take the M6x20 bolts and the radiator guard. Like first you see there are gouges for the bars, yeah? So you start with the top gouge. Now I suggest you first align this one and catch it again. And now we see it's not super precise, but we will align a little bit to get it into the gouge, like this. And now you can tighten all 3 bolts. Now you can tighten the bolt here and the bolt here. Now we are looking at the bottom of the tank, yeah? So here is the electric connector for the fuel pump. So connect it, yeah? And then you need to connect also the fuel line and secure it here also. And do it also on the other side. There is also 1 electric connector and 1 fuel line. And after this is done, don't forget to open the petcock. Now this is the original skid plate, but you can have also any alternative that works with the original tank covers. At this stage you have to remove the original tank covers and replace them with supplied more narrow carbon covers from us. Now from the pack number 4 you take the M6x25 and the deep washers, and M6x16, yeah, also with deep washer, and 1 M6 nut, yeah. And now we mount the carbon tank cover to the skid plate. You can take the original bolts. You can take the original bolts or this M6x20 and then the washers and mount the skid plate. In the back of the skid plate use the original bolts. Guys, now you will install the carbon box, carbon pocket. You take out the rubber supplied USB pocket. From the other side you take the USB and you push it through, but only this part. The box will remain outside. Yeah. Now we fit here the carbon box. We prepare the cable here from this right side. Okay. To mount the carbon box, you take the long compression limiter, the grommet, and the M8 by 55 millimeters. Yeah, and you go through the top box and you mount it. Be careful, you have to go really radially into the holder. It's from aluminum, so be careful and don't destroy the thread in the top holder. Now remove this bolt, this original bolt, and prepare the M6x16 and the M5x12 with a plastic washer to mount the carbon side panel. Now you take the original bolt and the seat lock and you mount it here. Here you can see the USB port. The electronics from the USB port it's located now here above the battery. Here are the wires. Try to push it in between the let's say seat lock and the airbox. Follow the frame. Here go under the seat lock and you come over here to the back of the motorbike, and here in the back of the motorbike are 2 power outlets. One is ACC1, which is permanently under the power, and ACC2, which is under the power only when you turn the ignition key on. We recommend to connect to the ACC2, yeah, because the USB port is all the time consuming very minimal amount of electricity. So if you put it to ACC1, might happen, and you don't ride for 2-3 weeks, might happen that it will ruin your battery. Yeah? So the ACC2 is more safe. Guys, in the last stage, you will mount the side panels. Depends if you have the original cockpit or the RG cockpit. If you have the RG cockpit, you will get the longer side panel that is connected with the tower. If you have the original cockpit, you will get only small side panel. In both cases, in the back side, here is one hole prepared in this corner. So just make it through the sticker, and here is prepared hole for the turn signal. So just make it through the sticker. Here in this corner, it's not sticked, but after you mount it here and in front, you will see through, and you will make the hole yourself. Yeah, it was difficult to make it precisely from the manufacturing. Yes, so we kindly ask you to do the hole, and then you mount it, the side panel, with two M5x16 bolts and the plastic washers. Hey guys, the installation is finished. Congratulations to your great mechanical job, and we wish you many nice adventure experiences with RG RADE tanks.